Today's session, we are going to be talking about summer internships. Um, but obviously, as always, if you want to hear more from us, more on the Graduate Ambitions podcast, either these lunchtime live sessions or our sessions with guest employers, then please make sure that you like or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on, and set yourself up for notifications of when we are live or when there are new episodes uploaded. So yeah, I am as always joined by Anya, who is yes, always ready with the questions to ask. How are you doing today, Anya?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, looking forward to another good discussion and hopefully an opportunity to answer some questions from everyone else.
Yeah.
But I have to say, a bit disappointed with the weather we've been having. I
Uh,
feel I've been a bit robbed of this heat wave that we were promised. so so yeah, I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks things will start to brighten up and yes, we'll be into summer before we know it.
yeah. I was
So,
about to say I was sort of really excited that the topic today is summer internships because it means that summer's on the way.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really front of mind, I think, for people, especially with that weather change, with the clocks, and so on. I think it's really yeah, something that is everyone has in their thoughts about what's going to be happening over the summer.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So what kind of questions have we got that have come through on this topic?
Yeah, and I think the first one we should start with is why are summer internships so important? Why are they so valuable?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a number of different things to think about with internships, and there's not only a way for you to obviously kind of get a better understanding about your I suppose your kind of area of study in person, in practice, but it's also a great way for you to get an understanding of the working environment, to yeah, see what that's like being in the office, attending meetings, either working in a hybrid environment, which is very common now, kind of post COVID, that you might be working sometimes at home, sometimes in the office, and how you really are kind of managing um, your stakeholders and the relationships that you build throughout that time. As well as the tasks that you've got to undertake. So there's a lot of aspects of your internship that are valuable to help you with building your knowledge and understanding and the application of that, but also in terms of the softer skills and how you work in that particular environment as well. So combined, that's really quite valuable experience for you to have, if you can get that on your CV. Um, but there's obviously different types of internships. So a bit like what you kind of indicated at there. So there's those that you would go in and work for the full summer for, or there is kind of more virtual internships, where perhaps you're getting the opportunity to understand case studies and again hear from people about what it's like to work in that industry sector firsthand, get a bit of a flavour of the type of work that you might be experiencing, do a bit of networking and understand what these employers' expectations are of students and graduates. So again, very valuable if you have those types of experiences lined up. And then there are kind of any other kind of work experience or volunteering experience that you get to do over the summer. Again, all very valuable um, for employers. So yeah, I don't know. if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about sort of in the current climate? Because obviously with COVID, we've learned that a lot of things can be done virtually and can be seen as a benefit, as a good thing. What about virtual internships? Are they still as valuable? Do they bring downsides?
I wouldn't say they bring downsides. I think it is just a different approach with a virtual internship. It does tend to be that these are shorter experiences, maybe a few days or a week long, rather than them being like for the full summer. So I think that's something to consider. It's also a good opportunity that perhaps you could do more than one virtual internship. So you're getting to hear from perhaps different perspectives, different types of job roles, different companies. So that can be really valuable for you as a candidate for when you're kind of selecting the type of roles you want to apply for post-graduation, because you'll have a bigger awareness if you've undertaken more of these kind of virtual internships. I think initially, a virtual internship was kind of seen as a bit of like the poor second cousin to an actual in-person internship. But very quickly, companies that arrange these virtual internships have made them very, very valuable in terms of the content and the experiences that the candidates are getting as they go through these virtual internships. And it is, as I mentioned earlier, it's this opportunity to not only experience case studies and kind of this is the type of work that you would be doing and understanding, how you would approach that, and getting that advice from people who have been in that industry sector or been in the types of roles that you're going to be undertaking. So there's that aspect. There is the opportunity to network, to ask questions, to understand what different employers might be looking for. So all of that is really important. Plus, as you're doing it virtually, you're getting an opportunity to understand what that's like working and, working as part of a group, working to deliver, the kind of outcome of a case study or so on and present that all online. And these are things that this is how we're working now, so it's picking up these skills, that if there weren't virtual internships available, you might not actually get the opportunity to do that. So they're definitely very valuable, and employers definitely see the value in them if you have them on your CV. So don't worry that they might only be a few days long. If like I said, if you're doing more than one of them, even if you are only doing one, it's always good to have that on your CV.
And do you think that makes it sort of more accessible to some people? Because obviously, if it's virtual, you could do it maybe at your own speed if you're not very good at sort of getting understanding facial expressions, that sort of thing. Do you think it would be more accessible to some people having that ability for it to be virtually over the computer and you have your own workspace and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the feedback that we've had so far from students, and certainly from other reports that I've seen, like from companies like High Flyers and the Institute of Student Employers, is that the view is that these are certainly more accessible to people. They definitely support individuals, who have a disability, the may have, other kind of traits that might make it difficult for them to attend in person. People have less anxiety and stress around about, kind of going along to these types of events because you're doing it from the comfort of your own home, really, or from a location that you're familiar with and you can have a bit more control over. And I think when it comes to that aspect of, accommodations around about accessibility for, if you do need a bit longer to read things, or if you have specific preferences over how things are communicated, these are things that you can talk to the organisers about. They certainly won't it won't hold you back in any way. There will be kind of adjustments that they can make to build that time in, or to allow you to ask more questions, perhaps to have instructions that you can listen to rather than read. So there's different options that certainly employers will have in place if you're doing this virtually. Similarly, if you were doing it in person, it's important to talk about what you need to support you to get the most out of that experience and make it as valuable as possible for you. So it's definitely having the opportunity to have some of those conversations ahead of time. But also, again, as much as it's like, oh man, if you're in that situation, you really shouldn't have to explain to every single person that, you do have certain preferences or traits that you need to be considered. But it can help to get used to talking about these and how you want to have those conversations in a professional setting. How do you want colleagues and peers and line managers to support you in terms of any accommodations that you need? Who do you want to know? Who would you rather didn't know? So again, if you're in a situation where you do have a disability, especially a hidden disability or a neurodivergence, then again, these are things that you can use virtual internships as a bit of a platform for your own kind of testing how you want to have these conversations, because they might be conversations you've never had to have before. And so, speaking to somebody in HR, speaking to the person that's leading a session ahead of time, or being able to send a private message when you're online to say, actually, I might have a hearing issue, or I might have, anxiety, or I might have, I prefer to have my camera off for this reason. Just kind of letting people know, so that you're kind of managing their expectations and making sure that they know how they can support you best during those sessions. But yeah.
And what's the whole experience like? What can you expect when you have a summer internship? Is it sort of like a regular job, or is it slightly different to that?
Yeah, I mean, as much as possible. I think going back 10 or 15 years ago, it was very much you came in and you were kind of seen as like, a bit of a dog's body. You'd be the person doing the printing, making the tea, all that, those kind of things. It's not like that now. When summer interns come in, the way things are set up is that employers want you to get the best experience, because they want you to see them as a potential option as a future employer. So they want to make sure that what you're getting from them is valuable for you, as well as valuable for them. So I would say it is going to be more like that kind of typical work. You're going in, you're doing a job for the period of time that the placement lasts for, especially if this is, like it's not a virtual kind of internship, that it is something that lasts like for a certain number of weeks during the summer. So generally they're lasting anything between 6 to 10 weeks. And you'll be assigned to, a department, you'll be assigned to particular projects. You will probably have a job role where there's certain tasks that you might need to carry out on a daily basis or a weekly basis, as well as any of the projects that you're working on. And this is to give you that experience, because that's what it's like in real life. You know, you do have a day job, and then you will have projects that you're working on that support either that day job or support a wider agenda across the business. And so getting experience of both of those aspects again helps you to apply your knowledge and understanding in practice. Ask all the questions that you need to around about that, but then also have this kind of project side of things, which might be a bit more of a challenge or a stretch for you, because it might be on something that you've never really focused on before. But it gives you those other skills like project management, time management, prioritization, communication, stakeholder management. All of those things kind of come together. Plus, you get to understand what it's like, to make your commute, to meet with people within your department, build those relationships, meet with people across the business, to work from home and understand, right, well, how do you get the support you need when you're in the office, and how do you get the support you need when you're not in the office and you're working from home. So these are all learning curves that everyone needs to go through, and these summer internships definitely help with that. But a big part of the summer internships is about you really also understanding if that's a company you want to work for. So it's about learning about the company, other people's experiences, so don't forget to network and ask questions, about, what people like about working there, what they don't like, because it's a great opportunity for you to actually hear that firsthand and experience it firsthand, to decide if that's a company you will apply for in the future, when you graduate.
Yeah. And what about after it's done? And I've got a question here, and they say they've got an internship with a company, and the company have said that they might be able to offer them a place on their graduate program, and they want to know how likely is that to happen? Is that something that happens often, or is it sort of they say it to get you carrying on, or?
No, it's actually a really popular and also a very cost effective method for organisations to convert students into potential like graduates for their graduate programme the following year or in the next 2 years. So generally, summer placements start from second year of a university degree, and then they would be looking for people who have completed their degree, their third year or fourth year, to come on board as graduates. Now, it makes sense for them to be able to convert. That's kind of the term they use, to convert students into their graduates, because they've actually already seen you working. It's the best interview you can ever give is by working those 6 to 10 weeks, over the summer, being able to prove what you've got to offer, and show that the value that you can add. So is it a guarantee? No, by no stretch of the imagination. You do have to go in and prove yourself. You have to demonstrate that you are the right person for that program. So it is going in and being yourself, undertaking the tasks, asking the questions, being curious about what's going on in the business, not just what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, building some of those relationships, showing that you have got those similar values to what the company's values are, and that you fit with them. And again, this is a two-way thing. So it's not just about the company interviewing you over that period of time and seeing, they've added a lot of value, or they've got great performance and we think they would do well on our program. It's also about you really, as I said, sussing out, is this the type of organisation you want to work with? What is the type of support you're getting when you're in the office and when you're at home? What is the commute? Is it a commute that you would want to make, on a regular basis if you were working there? What is the job role that you would be undertaking as a graduate? Because that might be different to the job role that you're undertaking as a summer intern. So it's really getting the opportunity to, as I said, have some of those conversations over the time that you're there, and really understand if you think that you fit with that company, or if that company fits with you, even, that's somewhere where you think, yeah, this is where I want to start my career, and potentially even have a longer term career there. So it's definitely a great opportunity to have that two-way approach. And if you are offered a job and it's not the company you want to work with, obviously you don't need to accept it. But if you're offered the job and you do want to accept it, then it can take a lot of pressure off, because then you don't need to look for that job role towards the end of your degree. But there is no guarantees. They will only have a certain number of positions available, and they will probably have a target rate of how many students they want to convert onto their graduate programme. It might only be like 25% they fill in that way, or 50%, and they will go to market for the rest. So yeah, it's definitely worth putting the effort in, showing what you can do, and sussing out if this is the organisation that's right for you.
Yeah, and I think if you like it, it would be a great place to work, because you've already, as you said, you've already built those relationships. You know the role, you know the environment, and I think that could be very beneficial for you.
Yeah, and it just means when you do start as a graduate, you've got that level of familiarity. When you go there, you know some people, you know a bit about what the business is about, so it can help you settle in quicker, and again start to add more value in your role as a graduate quicker, which can help support you in your progression and your development, at a faster rate than somebody who hasn't had that summer internship experience with that organisation.
Yeah, and I've got a question here from someone, and they say that they haven't been able to secure an internship for the summer, and they feel like it would impact their chances of getting a graduate role when they finish their studies. What can they do about this?
Yeah, and I mean, what we've spoke about so far is, summer internships are great, virtual internships are great, but these are not the only ways to demonstrate experience to employers. Again, I would say even 4 or 5 years ago, it was a big deal actually to get a summer internship. It was very, very competitive. It was basically organisations were saying, right, well, they must be really good because they've secured a summer internship. They've got that industry experience. They know what it's like in our working environment. And so they will be able to come in and hit the ground running. But actually, things have changed in that time. And yeah, it's still a valuable experience to get that if you can, and I think as well, probably if you're doing a summer internship, you will get paid over the summer more money than you would just in a part-time job. So financially, it's obviously also potentially a better route. But actually, employers are now very, very realistic about the fact that summer internships are hard to come by. Not everyone gets it. Not everyone's in a position to commit for a full summer. Not everyone's in a position where they can travel to places like for a summer internship, especially if you live somewhere more remotely, and a lot of the summer internships are in big cities. So they do appreciate that actually it's not always feasible for people to do that. So the best thing you can do is think about, right, well, what experience can I get over the summer that will give me some transferable skills, or will give me some work experience as well as some added cash, it's a bit of a bonus, to support you in your applications as you go forward. Now, that can be anything at all. Employers want to see a a lot of experience from across your life and not just this industry related experience, because they do appreciate that any employee is more than just what they do at work, so they want to see, well, over the summer, have you been doing anything in terms of, any hobbies or interests that you might have picked up or been part of or supported, for yourself, for other people, for your local community? What does that look like for you? Have you travelled? I mean, obviously, the last couple of years that's not really been so much of a possibility, but this time round, we're heading into a summer where the world's opening up again, and you have the opportunity to perhaps travel in the summer, see different cultures, so it's not just about going on holiday, but what are you actually learning when you go there about the cultures, the language, the people? What's your awareness of that? Are you taking a year out perhaps when you finish university and going traveling? How will that strengthen your applications? And then kind of any part-time work, any summer job that you get, industry related or not, you will be able to demonstrate things like teamwork, communication, perhaps prioritization or planning in some way. So these are great things that you can do, whether you're working in hospitality, whether you are working in a call center, whatever that job is that you get, there will be transferable skills, and these are the transferable skills actually that employers look for most to support the knowledge and understanding you're already getting from your degree. So don't think that if you don't have an industry related summer internship that you are going to be in any way, at a detriment because you don't have that to offer an employer. They will be very much looking beyond that. And then the other aspect is volunteering. We talk a lot about Studenteer, and I'll put a link to Studenteer in the description of this podcast. They are a company set up by students for students at the start of COVID to help students get experience that was related to their degree, or certainly related to the business side of charitable work, rather than work in charity shops and so on. That you can get, and you can actually go along and be involved in a project for a period of time, and again, great experience to get on your CV. But yeah, volunteering rather than paid. But any kind of volunteering work, as I said, anything that's supporting other people, supporting your community, is a great way to also demonstrate more about who you are as a person, and the different transferable skills that you'll have to offer as a result of that. Never underestimate the transferable skills, because they are important to every single employer out there. So don't worry about not having an actual industry related summer internship. Get your experience elsewhere. There's lots of different ways to do it.
Yeah, I think you can find experience in anything really. What if you've never had a job before? What if you went into uni never having a job, and you're wanting to do a summer internship now? Will that affect your chances of getting one in the interview? And they ask you if you have any experience. What if you don't know what you can say?
No, I mean, again, I would say a few years ago it would definitely have impacted you. Employers used to be reluctant to hire people who had went to university, might have had a fabulous first degree but had no work experience, and employers would be like, right, okay, they've only got one half of the puzzle here. They don't have that rounded kind of experience that somebody that might come in with a 2-2 or a 2-1 and a part-time job might have had. But actually that's changed now again. There is, as I said, much more focus on what's going on across your life and experiences holistically, rather than just what you've got as work experience. Because again, employers are realizing there might not have been the opportunity. Certainly in the last couple of years, jobs have been scarce during COVID, at entry level. Things are changing now, thankfully. But it's not always been possible for people to get those job roles. But even kind of the couple of years before that, things were changing anyway. Employers were realising that no, it's much more important for us to look at this person as an individual. Again, where was the opportunity? How feasible was it for you to have got a job? Some people's circumstances might have made that, near on impossible until this point in time. So again, what are the experiences that you've gained at university while you've been there, or prior to going to university, even kind of at school? Have you been part of any kind of sports activities, hobbies or interests that you might have? Have you been part of any committees? Have you been like course representative, were you a prefect at school? What are some of the other ways that you can demonstrate that you can work with other people, communicate well? At university, I think it's very unlikely that you would go through university without doing some kind of group project in any year. That you have to communicate in different ways. You have to submit reports or essays, or you have to submit kind of your findings in a study, or you have to present to either a panel or to your whole class on certain things. You might be part of debates or challenges. So all of these things, again, they help to show your transferable skills. So think about those things. Think about what you're doing in your personal life. As I said, hobbies, interests. It could be caring responsibilities. It could be that you've moved country. All of these things are amazing ways to demonstrate skills that you've had to build, and again, can transfer into other contexts, other situations. So where you would normally have a work experience section, just change that into like key skills, or to talk about extracurricular activities, and talk about the skills that you've learned and built and developed in any of those situations across your life. So it doesn't hold you back if you've never had a job, because we've all got to start somewhere. It's just about making sure you can convey, this is what I've got to bring, this is who I am, and this is how I've developed what I've got so far.
Yeah, I think that point of we all got to start somewhere, that resonates. Yeah, I think that's really important. Last question from me. When should people start sending out applications? Should you wait until people start advertising, or should you just get a head start and start sending out applications?
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways obviously to do that. There is the kind of proactive approach, like if you know of an organisation that you're really interested in, yeah, definitely reach out to them. Find out from them what opportunities there might be. When, ask the questions, when's the best time to apply? Get in touch with them, start to maybe kind of build some relationships there, keep in contact on a regular basis. But also, it's a bit like a lot of things when it comes to students and graduates. There is a bit of a traditional cycle that happens, and a lot of jobs are advertised probably more so in the autumn and winter of each year. But that is changing. It used to be that was it. All the jobs were advertised in the autumn and winter, and the selection processes would be kind of early in the year into spring, and people would know before they were having their kind of final exams of that year where they were going to be undertaking their internship. But again, that's changing. Companies are becoming much more flexible, because companies are changing and things are so fast moving, fast pace. They might recognise that actually, okay, this is us now. We're in April. We didn't know actually 2 months ago we needed somebody in for the summer, but now we do. So there will be jobs that will be advertised. So if you don't have a summer internship yet, it's not too late. There will still be some opportunities getting advertised over the next couple of months. It might also be a good idea to check in with some local recruitment agencies. There might be some smaller companies that are advertising for not so much roles that are classed as summer internships, but definitely looking for people for short-term contracts for over the summer that again could be relevant to your industry sector, or could just be short-term contracts in another kind of professional area that might support you in your development as you go forward. So yeah, I think if it's those types of roles, they'll come up kind of just as and when. They're a bit more ad hoc. But yeah, we have on our free tools and resources a jobs list that we keep up to date from month to month, and on there we do have some summer internship kind of availability. So I'll share that information in the link to that in the description below. But yeah, is there a key time? So if you are finishing your first year at university just now, I would say start to look out for jobs for next summer from October onwards, from October this year. If you're currently in your second or third year now and you're looking for a summer internship, yeah, there's probably less on the market the closer you get to the summer. But they're not all gone completely. So yeah, that's kind of timelines.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, well, thank you for answering all of my questions.
No worries at all. Yeah. And I think, again, as we always say, if you are able to join us live and put your questions in, we will answer them live. But if you can't make it live, you can submit any questions to us at graduates@strategicambitions.com. We're here every second Tuesday at 12:30. The link is shared on our social media sites, so you'll be able to join us live if you can. And yeah, as I said at the beginning of the call, just make sure that you like, subscribe, sign up for notifications on whatever platform that you listen to Graduate Ambitions podcast on, and you will get information on when we go live or when any kind of new episodes are uploaded. But yeah, it's been really good to talk about summer internships, and yes, it makes me really want it to be summer already.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thanks again, Anya, for all the questions, for collating them. And yes, we look forward to speaking to you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Speak to you all later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.